Hey guys, it's me, Rob Nichols, your Boston-based real estate entrepreneur, and today I'm working on a 3-part mini-series to teach folks how to flip. I'm going to talk about the number one reason why folks fail, and I'm going to talk about the keys to success as a flipper in these 3 videos. If you're serious about learning how to flip, definitely subscribe and stay tuned for these videos. I'm going to be dropping a new one each Friday, and in addition to that, I'm going to be giving away a free gift at the conclusion of the 3-part series that I'm sure you'll appreciate if you want to learn how to flip totally for free, guys. Stay tuned for more as always, and have a great day. Hey guys, it's me, Rob Nichols, your Boston-based real estate entrepreneur, and today I want to talk about why most flippers fail, guys. And the number one reason most flippers fail is because they don't have a plan. The reality of it is everyone starts off with great intentions, the best of intentions, but if you fail to plan, you're essentially planning to fail. I know that sounds cliche, but it is the reality of the flipping business and any business for that matter, and even in your life, guys. It's easy to be blinded by the potential of amazing profits as a flipper. I mean, you got these wild dreams and fantasies of making all this money, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a plan, you may as well go to the casino and play roulette. You probably have a better chance to win at the casino than you do flipping without a plan, guys. And so, because it's real quick to have a fool part ways with his money when it comes to flipping homes. And so from that perspective, today I want to talk about my 5 rules for flipping that will empower you to flip for a profit and minimize the risk of failure and increase the probability of major profits, guys. Rule number 1, don't buy any properties that don't fit the 70% rule. For those of you who are beginning in flipping, you may not know what this rule is, so I'll specify what it is pretty quickly. The 70% rule is when you take what you expect to sell a home for, let's say in this case $100,000, and multiply it by 0.7, which will give you $70,000 or 70% of the ARV. ARV stands for after repair value. That number is what you want to purchase the property for and renovate it for. So again, if you're buying a property that you expect to sell for $100,000, you do not want to be in it for any more than $70,000 between your acquisition price and your renovation budget. It's easy to try to bend the rules and try to squeeze it or tweak it and make it work, but the reality is you are setting yourself up for failure if you don't follow this rule. And the most successful flippers I know, including myself, live by this rule religiously. It takes discipline to flip successfully, guys. And so before you even start looking for homes, understand first and foremost what the 70% rule is and how you need to apply it to your business. In order to successfully calculate the ARV and calculate your renovation budget to get to the total number, you have to have the right team. And I'm gonna talk about this in the second series part of this video. This is a 3-part series. I'm gonna talk about this in part 2, how to build a successful team that'll help you crush it as a flipper. But for the sake of this video, I will say make sure you use a competent person to give you that ARV, not just Zillow, and then in addition to that, competent realtor, and in addition to that, you have a competent contractor that's going to give you a real number to finish the project. Not a fantasy number, not a fake number where they hope to gain the business, but a number that they're going to stand by and make sure they do everything in their power to ensure the project gets done for that amount. Rule number 2, make sure you have access to enough capital to not only start the project, but to start and carry the project all the way through. It's easy to borrow money or have money to get started, guys, but once you get into these projects, it's hardcore and it's not easy to get out if a lot of unforeseen hurdles or circumstances come up, unforeseen issues with the house, or something happens in a life circumstance where you got to use that money for something else. You got bills coming and the project drags on. Make sure you have enough money to get started and carry the project for double the amount of time that your contractor says is going to take. Again, double the amount of time, because while these contractors may have the best intentions, the reality is these projects tend to drag on, and it's okay, it happens, but you better be prepared for it and have a game plan in place in the event instead of taking 3 months, it takes 6, so that you don't hurt yourself and that you're still able to successfully earn a healthy profit, guys. So make sure you have enough cash, or access to enough cash. It could be OPM, other people's money, or your money, but the key is you have access to it to make sure you can carry and complete your project for a profit. Rule number 3, project management starts with showing up and asking questions, guys. And this is twofold here. First and foremost, you'll keep your contractor accountable if you're showing up every day. They know you're going to be there, which puts pressure on them to perform and finish. And the magic question you want to ask every day is, what is your plan for today? Meaning, what do they plan to accomplish that day? Any good contractor is going to have a game plan daily that they want to execute. So that will keep them accountable, and they'll know this guy means business or this girl means business. She's going to show up every day and make sure we're making progress. And then the second side to that is you're going to learn a ton, especially as a new flipper. You don't have to know everything. I mean, obviously you have YouTube and other resources that'll show you different ways to do things. But if you have the right contractor, again, this comes back to the team. We're going to cover this in a little bit on the next video. But as far as showing up and asking questions, it keeps them accountable, and you're going to learn a ton just being in construction, so that as you progress through flipping, you'll be more experienced and know how things need to get done relative to how a project runs daily. And again, it keeps them efficient because they know you're going to be there. It's easy for contractors sometimes to, try to sneak off and do a quick 2-day job, make a couple bucks and come back. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, just make sure they're communicating with you the game plan, when they're going to be there, and more importantly, when they're not going to be there. If you show up one day and no one's there and they said they would be, the first thing to do is make sure you give them a call immediately and confirm, when are you going to be here to get my project done? This makes sure that they know you mean business, and will increase the chances of you getting that project done quickly. And just, again, keeping folks accountable is just so important. It's a daily grind. It's not something where you set it and forget it. You have to be involved. You have to drive the process, because this is your money and your future we're talking about here. So keep that in mind. Show up every day. Ask questions. This is the best way to manage a project, even if you're not experienced. The other advice that I want to give in relation to rule number 3 in money management with flips is make sure your contractor understands they're going to be paid based on how the project is funded by your lender. And this is why from the onset of the deal, you want to have a good rapport with the lender who's going to let you know how the project will be funded, how the draws will be paid out, so that you can communicate that to your contractor, so that they're not expecting to be paid, at a certain rate, as opposed to being paid when you get funded, which makes the project work for you and you do things on your terms. And so this is why you need to make sure, again, we're going to talk about building that superstar all-star team in the next video in this series, but just make sure that this is communicated early on and you understand, and your contractor understands how they're going to be paid, so everyone is on the same page. Rule number 4, guys, make sure you maximize your profits on the sale. And the best way to do this, honestly, is to work with a local realtor who knows the market, who's successful in that market, and who will advise you on finishes, potential staging, and kind of just give you tips on how you can finish that property. Make sure the finishes are in line with what the buyer's tastes are for the market. This is so important. It's easy to have a contractor who can execute at a high level, but if you pick the cabinet colors that are outdated, or the wrong countertops, or there's nothing ties together, I think it's important to have a real estate agent or someone on your team who can definitely advise you on the best finishes that will yield high profits and a quick sale. The longer it takes you to sell, especially with flipping, if you're using a hard money loan, the more interest you're paying, or for any loan for that matter, which means the less profits you're making. So at the end of the day, it's super important to ensure you have a grasp on what the local tastes are for finishes relative to where you're doing your flip. And it's as simple as that. Rule number 5 is don't give Uncle Sam any more than he deserves, guys. So what I mean when I say that is, when it comes to flipping after you sell the property, you want to make sure that you're not overpaying in taxes. Now, to ensure that happens, you want to start from the beginning of the project and make sure you have an accounting system in place, whether it's QuickBooks or a spreadsheet that you utilize as you're smaller and you don't have the budget to really get accounting software. Whatever you decide to do, make sure that you're super disciplined with inputting all your expenses daily with your flips. You don't want to get behind on this because it adds up quick, especially if it's a project where you're buying materials and your contractor, you're paying them labor. Just a lot that comes with it. And if you miss out on including something, you're missing out on potential profits, because now you can't write off those expenses because you don't have them entered into your sheet or into your software system. And so from that perspective, it's super, super, super important to make sure from day one you understand how to keep track of the accounting, even if that means talking to an accountant. And you see every step of this here, there's additional people that you want to bring on your team that will help support you and help guide you and ensure you're getting profits. Flipping is not something where you just wake up one morning and say, hey, I want to flip, and you do it alone. It is important to build a team, and as we progress to this next video in this 3-part series, I will share more on how to build that all-star team that'll get you all-star profits, guys. So to recap, guys, the 5 rules for successful flipping. Number 1, don't buy any properties that don't fit the 70% rule. Rule number 2, make sure you have enough money to start, finish, and carry the project, guys, from the onset. Super important. Rule number 3, project management starts with showing up and asking questions. So essential. Rule number 4 is make sure you maximize the profits on the sale. And rule number 5, do not give Uncle Sam any more than he deserves, guys. This one's super important as well. Hope you guys found this helpful, and I just want to leave you with a couple of thoughts that I had. I said this at the start of the video, and I'm going to say it again. Nobody plans to fail, but when folks fail, it's because they failed to plan. And one thing I want you guys to remember is that all it takes is the right plan to change your life. Stay tuned for more, guys. If you're feeling these videos, feel free to subscribe. And I'll be sharing a free gift at the end of this 3-part series. I'm going to be sharing my master flip plan that will show you how to start a flip, get it funded, finish it successfully, and how to make profits through flipping houses. Hope you found this helpful, and as always, stay tuned for more.